politics around crime and justice issues can go in any direction, but certainly they're always interesting. So it's always good to have a politician come onto campus and tell us their thoughts. So it's a great pleasure to welcome Honourable Poto Williams onto campus today. Welcome, Poto.
Thank you very much for having me.
Minister, I think each new Minister of Police wants to stamp their personal style and put a sort of an emphasis onto their portfolio. What do you think that will be for you?
Well, that's a no-brainer. It is about ensuring community safety, but more importantly to me, I guess, is our interactions with our Maori Pacific communities has to change, and ensuring that our engagement, the police engagements with our communities are robust, but they're also tailored around what needs to happen to ensure that we reduce those rates of incarceration and arrest that we're currently seeing.
Yeah, well, the Maori over-representation is the big issue, right? So that's a major focus for you, but is it at the end of policing where we need to focus on that, or is it somewhere else?
It's actually it's an all-of-government response, but particularly targeted to what happens in the justice space. So already the police and the Ministry of Justice and Corrections and others are working together around that, you know, the courts and such. And as a government, we need to do the same thing and really support that work. So we do have a Justice Ministers group, but more than that, we actually have to have an all-of-government response. So we're looking at social need and housing need and education, all of those things that actually transform communities. And once we do that, if we can establish a good base for people to leverage from, then we will carve out a lot of the harms that we're currently seeing.
How does your personal history influence your work as a woman of colour? Does that influence your outlook, do you think, on the role as Minister?
Absolutely does, and I think being the first Pacifica person to hold the role, that, you know, I can feel the kind of weight of the community pressing down on that. But what that does also demonstrate is that I understand from my own whānau, my own family, my own community point of view, how we need to do this stuff better to ensure that we engage everybody. So it's an absolute opportunity that, you know, I'm just couldn't pass up.
Yeah. But even in your roles and your work before becoming an MP, you were deeply involved in the community. Has that helped inform how you see policing as well?
Absolutely. And I've worked alongside police in my roles in family violence, for example. They do inform, but more than that, they have become a part of who I am, and understanding the life journeys of our children in particular, and how we can actually change that life journey for the better. Has been some of the stuff I've learnt in the roles working in family violence, working in mental health, working in community health, for example. All of those things paint a picture where I know that there are multiple opportunities for us to tap into the system, to change the system, that then ultimately change outcomes.
There have been, you know, many questions raised within the police. Dame Margaret Baisley, in more recent times to be Francis, about the culture within the police that can sometimes be quite negative. This must be of importance to you. How do you see that playing out? Yeah,
and it kind of speaks to the first question that you asked. You know, I'm enormously proud of the direction that we're heading in, and, you know, I go to graduations and I see the diversity of the new intakes. That is one part of the bigger discussion that needs to happen here. And while we have the pressure of the new intakes kind of requiring us to look and be in a different way, the support needs to come from the leaders within the police. And I know that there's been a lot of work for those leaders to reflect on their practice, to actually create environments that are much more about the, you know, just being the safe, fulfilling, responsible environments that we want to create everywhere. And I, you know, really applaud the police for being so grown up in their attitude, understanding that there is an issue, and they're moving forward with that. That speaks to how their engagements with the community needs to be as well.
So you're confident it's going in the right direction?
I absolutely am. I think it's good that we test ourselves by having these opportunities to look within. It's important that we do that, and then we take that information and use it to create the kinds of environments that we want to work in all the time.
Minister Williams, thank you so much for coming to
Kia ora.
campus today.
Thank you.